Hello Trekkies and Trekkers. Well, it's another day of Star Trek Timber, so start reviews off with Chain of Command, which is a two-parter, but again, I'm reviewing it as one episode, so here we go. Jean-Luc Picard, Worf, and Beverly Crusher are assigned by Starfleet on a covert mission to seek and destroy a Cardassian biological weapons installation on their border world, Celtris 3. In Picard's place, Starfleet assigns Captain Edward Jellicoe, who has a vastly different style of command and decorum than the Enterprise crew, particularly William Riker, are accustomed to. Under Jellicoe, the Enterprise patrols the border near Minos Corva, a tactically significant Federation planet, and holds negotiations as to the fate of the planet with Cardassian representatives. After intensive training of the holodeck, Picard, Worf, and Crusher discreetly arrive on Celtris 3 and infiltrate the base. However, they find no signs of biological weapons, and suspecting a trap, they attempt to flee. Worf and Crusher escape, but Picard is taken prisoner and brought to Gul Madred, who informs him Celtris 3 was a trap designed to capture Picard. Dun dun dun! Madred uses a number of torture methods, including sensory deprivation, sensory bombardment, forced nakedness, stress positions, dehydration, starvation, physical pain, and cultural humiliation to try to gain knowledge of the Federation's plans for Minos Corva. Picard refuses to acknowledge Madred's demand for information. Madred attempts another tactic to break Picard's will. He shows his captain 4 bright lights, and demands that Picard answer that there are 5, inflicting intense pain on Picard if he does not agree. Meanwhile, the Cardassians inform the Enterprise crew that Picard has been captured. Jellicoe refuses to acknowledge that Picard was on a Starfleet mission, and a mission necessary for Picard to receive the rights of a prisoner of war rather than be subjected to torture as a terrorist. This leads to a heated argument between Jellicoe and Riker, upon which Jellicoe relieves Riker of duty. The crew observes signs of residue from a nearby nebula on the hull of a Cardassian ship, and Jellicoe suspects a Cardassian fleet may attempt to use the cover of the nebula to launch an attack on Minos Corva. Jellicoe determines their best course of action is to place mines across the nebula using a shuttlecraft. However, Riker is the most qualified pilot for the mission. Riker candidly criticizes Jellicoe's command style, and only accepts the assignment when Jellicoe personally asks him to pilot the shuttle instead of ordering him to do so. Riker successfully lays the minefield, and Jellicoe uses the thread of the minefield to force the Cardassians to disarm and retreat, also demanding Picard's return. With the work of the failure of the Cardassians to secure Minos Corva, Madred attempts one last ploy to break Picard, by falsely claiming that Cardassia has taken the planet and the Enterprise was destroyed in battle. He offers Picard a choice, to remain in captivity for the rest of his life, or live a cover on Cardassia by admitting he sees 5 lights. As Picard momentarily considers the offer, a Cardassian officer interrupts the process and informs Madred that Picard must be returned now. As Picard is freed from his bonds and about to be taken away, he turns to Madred and defiantly shouts, "There are 4 lights!" Picard is returned to the Federation and reinstated as captain of the Enterprise. Picard admits privately to Deanna Troi that he was saved just in the nick of time, and as by that point he was broken enough to be willing to say anything to make the torture stop. And for a brief moment he actually did see 5 lights. Huh, that's interesting. So let's look at some notes about this episode, starting with a comparison to George Orwell's 1984. Madred's test using 4 lights is an homage to George Orwell's 1984, in which O'Brien tortures Winston Smith until Smith admits that he sees 5 fingers, when O'Brien only holds up 4. Warner and Stewart had previously worked together in a production of Hamlet in 1965. Warner had praised young Stewart, who was early in his Shakespearean career at the time. Warner had previously appeared as different characters in 2 Star Trek films, St. John Talbot in Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, or as I would call it, Star Trek V, the one that sucks, and Chancellor Gorkin in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. It was cast as Gul Madred in Chain of Command at short notice, only a few days before production. This was because the actor previously cast dropped out. It was at such short notice that Warner had no opportunity to learn his lines. In response, the dialogue were written onto boards for him to read out loud as he went along. He preferred the Madred character to either of his previous Star Trek characters because of the scenes with Stewart, which he called, quote, Wonderful. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So overall, I think this is a pretty darn good episode, and again, it's definitely one of the best that Next Generation has to offer. So overall, I give Chain of Command 5 warp cores out of 5. Well, join me soon as we take a look at Ship in a Bottle. So, until then, live long and prosper, everybody.